Hi guys, Rebecca here from the Ship Shape Shop. I am on a roll this week. I feel like I've got so much to say and it is spewing out of me at alarming rates. So here we are, day 3 and another live video to share with you some wisdom. So I have been seeing a few things in the news lately about op shops groaning under the weight of people's stuff. January, beginning of the year, always an awesome time for a clean out, although I would say any time's a good time for a clean out when you're feeling in the mood. But what they're finding is that they are inundated with people's stuff and people aren't discerning about what should go to an op shop. So I thought that I would share with you some ideas on how you can become best friends with your op shop if you've got a lot of stuff to get rid of, and how you can donate responsibly without passing on the burden of disposal to the op shops. So op shops are, I think, actually, I don't know, I assume that all op shops, they're charity shops, right? So they're making money for a given charity. So when you take something that's broken and hide it at the bottom of a bag or hide it at the bottom of a box or leave it outside, I'll circle back to leaving stuff outside, but when you take something broken to an op shop, just think about this, you are passing on the burden of disposal to a charity. I'll say that again, you are passing on the disposal to a charity. And that's not cool. These guys are here helping people in our community who need it. So number one, don't take your broken stuff to the op shops. Definitely don't leave it outside. That's actually illegal to dump outside op shops, and more of them are setting up cameras outside now to catch people who are basically dumping refuse outside. Not only is it broken stuff, but yucky stuff happens to it overnight. People rifle through it, they strew it all across the footpath, all outside the store. And just think if that was your mum or your sister or your brother or someone that you love that was working in that shop doing their bit for their community. Imagine if they were the person who had to go and open up the shop that day and pick through rubbish that people have treated really badly, like peed on or vomited on or whatever. It's gross. Don't leave your stuff outside the op shops. It's bad karma, dudes. But also, if they catch you on camera, you could be getting a call from the police because it is illegal to do that. So that's number one. Number two, don't leave stuff outside the shop. Number two, when you are having a bit of a clear out, if you, for example, have a cupboard of doom that has a whole bunch of different categories of things in there, rather than just dumping everything into one box and going, here you go, op shop, it's really helpful to them if you categorize it. So if you have a few different boxes and you've got one box for bric-a-brac, another box for clothes, another box for stationery, all of that kind of thing, then when you go to the op shop, you can hold out the box and say, right, so this box is bric-a-brac. Is that something that you guys actually need at the moment? And if they say yes, great, there you go. Here's a box full of bric-a-brac in good working order, ready to go. If they say, actually, we don't need any bric-a-brac at the moment and we certainly don't need books, then you can put it back in your car and maybe call your local Rotary for books, for example. Let your fingers do the walking, do some Googling and find out who actually needs the stuff that you're giving away. The next thing is to make friends with the lovely staff at your local op shop. They're all lovely, lovely people in my experience anyway. They're delighted to have a chat if they're not too busy, and they will appreciate you talking to them and saying, this is what I've got in the car. Is the stuff that you need, or shall I continue on my way and try a different op shop? They're really helpful. They might help you unload if you've got a few things to do, but just make friends with them. Be nice. They're so busy and they do such a good job, and they will love to have a chat with nice people. What was the other thing that I wanted to share about? That was the last kazinger that I wanted to share with you around good working order. Do them in camera. Good working order. What does good working order actually mean? So a really, really great way to kind of your crapometer, I guess, is a good way to think of it, to decide if something is in good working order is if it's something that you would continue to use yourself or if you would loan it to your best friend. If it's good enough to continue using yourself or good enough to loan to a best friend, then it's good enough to go to the op shop. If it's not in that kind of state, then get creative about what you might like to do with it. If it's if there are old colouring pencils or old half-used colouring books or that kind of thing, call your local kindy or your daycare. Ask them if that's stuff that they need. They might like fabric scraps. If you've got a whole bunch of fabric scraps, and you're like, what am I going to do with this stuff? Then you could call around some kindies or some daycares and say, hey, are you guys interested in this? They're always looking for different resources and materials. So get creative, let your fingers do the walking, don't leave stuff outside, and make friends with the people at your local op shops. Yes, they're groaning under the weight of people's rubbish, but in my experience, they're still looking for good saleable goods. So if you have stuff that's in good working order that that you would continue to use yourself if you needed it, or if you would loan it to your best friend if they needed it, then that's good enough for the op shop, and off you go and have a wonderful day. Those are my tips for how to donate like a pro. That's how I do it when I work with my clients. There is a sorting process, so when I've worked with a client, everything comes back to my home, and I sort to make sure that I'm creating categories for the op shop so that when I arrive to drop things off, I can say, okay, I've got a whole lot of towels. Is towels what you need at the moment? And if not, then I know that I need to take them somewhere else. Just a little insight into what the process is like working with me, but also hopefully those tips give you some ideas on how you can have a clear out if you've got a long weekend coming up. Most of us do with anniversary weekends approaching. And you're thinking that you might do a bit of a drop-off, that is how you can donate like a pro and make your local op shop stay. Have a good one, guys. I will see you later. Bye.